Welcome back to Millennial Thoughts Podcast with your favorite Black and educated women, Alicia
and Kat, and we are on our millennial money journey.
Two millennial women navigating adulthood, learning everything that college didn't teach us.
Let's get to the biz.
Budgeting, investing, savings, and student loans.
But first, make sure you join our Facebook group, Millennial Thoughts, so you can keep up with the new episodes, join the conversation, and get resources to help you on your personal finance journey.
If you enjoy this episode, please leave a review on iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, wherever you may listen. And also don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod. 2 L's, 2 N's. Now to the thought of the day.
The Millennial Mogul for this week is Malat Wei. He was born in a war-torn country of South Sudan, lost the use of his lower limbs due to polio at the age of 3. He has lived for years with his family in refugee camps before coming to the United States, where he was offered his first wheelchair and later exposed to adaptive sports. Through wheelchair basketball, he has found confidence and strength that empowered him to graduate from high school and become a premier player of the game. The transformative power of sport led him to believe that if he could return to his home country, he could share with them all that he has learned to help other individuals with disabilities redefine how they see themselves and shift the perspective of the community members on the value of the people with disabilities. Malat Wei is the first professional wheelchair basketball player from South Sudan and the first to go back home to help grow adaptive sports. Now, if you would like to find more information, you can find him on Instagram at MALATWEI. And while you're on there, make sure you click the link on his bio. He is currently selling t-shirts, and all the profit, 100%, will be going to help support the athletic dream of a disabled athlete in South Sudan.
Today on the podcast, we have Ogechi. She is a project manager who went to school for mechanical engineering and has been investing for almost 10 years in the stock market and her retirement fund, aka 401k. And we are so excited to have her here so she can drop some gems about investing in the stock market, about 401k, and different things that we all need to learn about on this, adulting journey and about our money. So I'm so glad you came on here. Thank you so much. And let us know who you are. Give us some more information about you.
Thank you for sure. It's such an honor to be here, honestly, and I appreciate it. I wish the information you share on your platform, I wish I knew that when I was in college. I think my life would have turned out much better. But hey, there's a reason for everything. So hi guys, again, my name is Ogechi Chima. I'm out here in Houston, Texas. As she said, I went to school and studied engineering, but most of my career path has been technical but non-engineering. And as a result of these jobs that I've had over the past few years, I've got to meet people that have made me learn more about finance. In my spare time, I love cooking. I love reading up on finances and know what's going on. And I think in my friend circle, I'm like the Google, or Siri. I like to know what's going on. And so if anybody ever needs help, I'm like, hey, ask me, or people reach out to me randomly and I'm just happy to help only because that helps me learn a lot, So that's a little bit about me.
Well, thank you so much. I love that you're the Google person. Be like, oh, hold up, what's going on? People always like Google stuff. I'm like, oh, I don't want to Google it, but there's that. But yeah, so I just want to know from the start. I know you were saying like, thank you for the words of encouragement and the affirmation of trying to help the listeners. And also just like sharing like this is something that you wish you had and stuff like that, because I think it's really important. And that's one reason why I started this podcast, was to be able to shed light on it and give people's experiences and just to educate people, because at the core I'm an educator and I like to provide resources. So I feel like this is a good way, and money is definitely something that everybody needs to know about, and just figuring out how to make it work for them. So just a couple of questions or whatever that I have about this whole thing. I know you said you graduated and you got into it. investing. What was the first thing that you invested in when you became like a adult?
Good question. You know what? That's a very good question. Well, since we're talking about stocks, let's just say I started with the 401k. A 401k, it's a retirement account offered by most employers to their employees. And that's where you can contribute money in hopes that by the age of 59 and a half or 60 years old, you can pull out that money. When you put it in, it's tax-free. When you pull it out, you pay tax on it. But the whole point is just to set money aside without thinking about it. And some companies are kind enough to match whatever you put into a certain percentage. So it's always a good thing for people to put in that money, forget about it. And then you wake up one day, you're 60 years old, you have all this money you've saved up. And one good thing with that kind of investment is something called compound interest.
Mm.
So over time, the money grows and grows and grows. There's a book I read called The Compound Effect, and they ask a question there, which I'll post to y'all. I think the question goes, if you had, would you rather take 3 million today at the beginning of July, like July 1st, or you take 1 cent or you take a cent today that doubles every day till July the 31st.
Until July the 31st today?
Right. Yeah. So I
A
come
cent,
so
like a penny?
yeah, so I come to y'all with two options. Hey,
Okay.
do you want $3 million today, July 1st, or do you want a cent that doubles every day up until July 31st?
Probably that second one, right? Because it's doubling.
But it's
A lot.
doubling, so like 1 penny to 2 pennies?
Yes, that kind of
And
doubling.
then, yeah, but 1 penny to 2 pennies. And so 2 times 31. What?
I think
Did I say that right?
math is not our thing.
No, math is not our thing, and I don't got top people thinking that math is our thing, but I still got a master's degree.
Hey, listen, you're far up more than you know. So okay, so this is how it works. Think about it. I say all that to give you the importance or tell you the importance of compound interest. So yes, day 1 is 1 cent, day 2 it's 2 cents, day 3 is 4 cents, 8 cents, 16 and all of that. The thing is this, when you get to day 31, you would have more than 3 million, almost double.
Yeah.
As opposed to if you,
doubling.
yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, see, but me, I would say I want the 3 million, July 1st. Because I wouldn't even know. What is that going to equal to in 31 days?
No. The 3 million is flat. It doesn't double. We just give that to you, or you're patient enough and wait for 31 days.
Yeah, I ain't patient enough for that. So I might not.
It's that instant gratification.
Yeah, I might not be able to invest in the stock market.
Welcome to 2020.
Right?
So there you have it. Two different opinions, you know. Both of them are not missing out because you still end up with money, but that's what compound interest is all about.
Okay. So when you were talking about 401k, how did you determine how much you should be taking, like each paycheck? Like how much of the percentage were you thinking about taking each time?
Oh, like taking out to put in the retirement account?
Yeah.
So at that time, my company offered 6%. So what a lot of people did was put in 6%. Hey, if I put in 6% of my paycheck, the company will match 6%. So why not? So I started putting in 6%. The thing is this, a lot of companies do that, but companies are not dumb. They tell you, hey, we're going to match your 401k to a certain percentage of your contribution. However, if you leave the company within the first 2 years or within X amount of years, you would not leave with that money.
What?
Yes. So it's rare for you to have a company that gives you free money for nothing. A lot of times they're giving you that money because of your loyalty to the company.
Wow, that's so crazy. And that's another question that because when I think about 401k, I'm always scared to like just get one because I don't even know how long I'm going to be at the company that I'm at. Like right now, when I first started the job, I was so scared to even do 401k because I knew already I wasn't going to stay more than a year there. So I didn't grab one. And I was just like, I'll just put money aside and save and like start my own retirement fund. Like, what do you think about that?
That's also a good idea too, right? Because at the end of the day, it's what you're missing out on is quote unquote free money, which
Okay.
if they never gave you that free money, you'd still be okay because you know why? You were already putting in your own money into the retirement account and it was growing tax free. You put it in tax free. You know, you already know for every dollar you make in the United States, at least 70, I think 65 to 70 cents comes back to you because you have to pay Uncle Sam and pay this and pay that. But when you put money in your 401k, there's no tax on it. You just put it in there. So with regards to what you said, if you were doing your own thing and say you're for sure not going to stay with this company long enough, there's something else called an IRA. It's the individual retirement account. The 401k is specifically given to you by your company. But a lot of, self-employed people and small business owners, some of them do not offer 401k. They do an IRA. Okay, so that's something you do. Again, also teachers don't have the 401k or IRA. They have something else. I think it's a 503 or I forget. Yeah, don't quote me on that. But they have another kind of retirement account. So depending on the institution you work for, whether yourself, whether government or a regular company, there are different retirement accounts they provide to people. But I would say, yes, the IRA would be your option. And there's nothing wrong. A lot of people that have a lot of money or just diversification have the 401k and also an IRA.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So I have another question.
Yeah, carry on.
It made me excited. When it comes to the IRA, can you only get it from your company or can you get it outside of the company and kind of do your own individual thing?
Yes. So the IRA can only be gotten outside of the company because it's an I for individual. It has nothing to do with the company. Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. And what kind of I don't know, what am I trying to say? Like what kind of companies that are out there that you can get an IRA? Because I'm definitely shopping around and thinking about which one to do, but I still got to do my research. So do you have any ideas of things if you can give me some tips?
Yeah, I can share some tips. I think most brokerages in the US have offer an IRA. So you have Vanguard, Fidelity, Ameriprise, Ameritrade. Now, I think Robinhood was trying to release one. I'm not sure. Maybe. There's also M1 Finance, Webull, all those other companies that used to be like nice beginner apps for investing. They've started putting in, opportunities and options for retirement accounts just so that young people don't have to depend on, let me not say young people. Well, anybody using the app doesn't have to strictly depend on, the big dogs like Goldman Sachs and Ameritrade or Fidelity. One thing to look out for very carefully before you pick a brokerage specifically for retirement is the fees the fees. So there's some people, every time you use a company to do your retirement account, you don't know this, but you're paying whoever is picking that, you're paying the company some money. You just don't see it. They take sometimes 1%, 0.5%, 0.1%. They take that in fees every year from you. And some people don't know that. So I would say for whatever brokerage you go to, make sure that the fees are low. Some of the people that have the lowest fees, I think, is Vanguard. And also for some of the things you buy in the stock market and put in your retirement portfolio, you also pay for that. So in general, you want something that has the lowest fees and the lowest cost.
Oh, okay, that makes sense as well. And so I know we talked about like the 401k, retirement. Do you have a high yield savings account or do you not?
I do. And I just got put on game last year and I was so pissed because it's been out for a long time. Really?
You just started. See, we all just learning,
Yeah.
So what I guess what was your journey in that? I guess which one do you use or which one do you recommend or something? any of that regards? Because I don't personally have one. I know Catherine does. I have a goal to create one by the end of the year. We're gonna see if I make that goal.
You're gonna do it. I'm gonna hold you to it.
Okay.
That's right. Hold her to it. Yes.
Well, first I gotta have money to put in the high yield savings account, and I got kind of confused on the last episode. They talked about that. So.
Okay. Hopefully I can try to explain some of that. So right now, what you can do is, well, let me give you some recommendations that I know of. There's Ally, ALLY.
Yes, is that Black owned?
No. That's a very good question. We're going to talk about that actually after this question.
Okay.
So that's Ally.
About Ally, and I thought it was Black owned. I was about to say, okay, give y'all my money, but bring it back.
Hey, sometimes you got to get money from outside and circulate it within.
No, that's true.
So the ones I was mentioning to you, the ones I mentioned were Ally, ALLY. There is also CIBC. It's like a Canadian bank.
Mm-hmm. I see that all the time when I go to Toronto.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I don't live too far from Toronto, so I see it all the time when I go there.
Yes, there's also I think Citibank has something. Goldman Sachs have something, but then I think the most popular one though for real is Ally, ALLY, and yeah, I know Citibank has something, but yeah, those are the two big ones that I know of. I'm sure there are other small banks out there that will do the same. One thing with this high interest savings account is this: the higher the interest rate is, when you hear, oh, Feds have slashed interest rates, just know that the interest rates in your savings account will be cut as well.
Yep.
Whenever you go ahead.
That is a good point. Like, because when I started mine, I was at like 1 point, like maybe like 30 something, and then now it's at 1.21 because the Fed slashed things, and because of COVID-19 and just the market is not doing really well. And so I was just like, darn. And then I keep hearing other people who had Ally, theirs dropped significantly to like 1.00%.
Yep.
Interest rate.
Yes. And these were people that were, I think by the end of 2019 or beginning of 2019, they had 2.0, 1.85. So that's another thing with finances. You have to either follow somebody on any of this social media platforms that keeps in touch with what's going on, just so you can browse through and see what's going on, or surround yourself with people that do that, or you have to do that because you hear all the things and you're not sure what's going on. Oh, the Fed slashed interest rates. Some people don't know what it means, but anytime I hear that, I'm just like, dang it, my savings account. But think about it on a larger scale. When you have a lower interest rate on anything, think about even your loans, a car, whatever. If you have a lower interest rate, you're not going to be as pressured to pay, or you may pay less than before, right? Because the interest is much less now. And so sometimes the president tells the Feds to do that to stimulate more spending in the economy. If the interest rate of something is too high, fewer people would get into it. But if the interest rate is lower, why not? But there's a side effect of the interest rate, how it personally affects you. Because when they were slashing interest rates, people were trying to buy houses. Interest rates are so low, all-time low. Let's go. Okay, great. But, so that's the other side of thing. Everything has a side effect. Even when you go to the gas pump and you're like, oh my gosh, gas prices are so low. Oh my gosh, you're so excited. Guess what? Some people in the oil and gas just lost their jobs. Because correct, because for people to have their jobs and for the oil market to be, how do I put it, marketable and profitable, you have to sell gas at a certain price. When it starts cutting back, it's good for consumers, but then there's some other people that are just like, dang it, I lost my job, or dang it, they're gonna close down this refinery or this rig. But anyway, that's for a different day.
I feel like that's a good point to bring too, because I think we don't think of that.
Correct.
Like even when you're saying it, I'm like, wow, I didn't even think of it like that, right? But so when it comes to high yield savings account, which one do you have with, and why did you choose that one?
So I have CIBC right now.
Okay.
To be honest, my friend just told me about it. Obviously, he was trying to get, you know how you refer somebody, you get $100.
That's funny.
Yeah, and for me, I was like, oh my, I didn't, maybe I should have done more research, but for me, that one at the time, I think 1.7, 1.7 was way more than 0.001%. And I don't know if you guys know of Dave Ramsey. He's
Yes.
okay. So I used to follow him when I first got out of college, and I was a crazy saver, crazy minimalist, and all I did was save, save, save. I never invested. I never looked for like more opportunities outside of that. And that hurt me because I put all that money in the bank and nobody ever called me to say, "Hey, this is a lot of money. Maybe I don't know, 20,000. This is too much money. Have you considered a high savings?" Nobody said anything, and which was sort of disappointing. So, once my friend told me about a high savings account, I was like, "Done. This is much better than 0.001%." And so I didn't research other ones. Only after I chose that, then I started thinking of, oh man, there's this and there's that. But I found out even in switching, it's usually, somebody's offering 1.7, the other person's offering 1.65, other person's offering 1.8. I was like, these are minute things. If somebody was offering 2.5 when I had 1.7, I would leave and not look back. But I didn't switch because I thought the changes were just too minute. So I continued with the bank.
So, I know how you said you like to invest in your retirement fund, and you had created a high yield savings account. So, this might be a little personal, but how many
Uh-oh.
streams of income do you feel like you have?
That's a very good question. I even feel I don't want to use the word bad, but I just feel like I'm missing out if I say one because everybody be like, "Oh, and you're a millennial," you know. But I would say two right now. Well, actually, as of today, today, July
Okay.
2020, just
Mhm.
one. So I lost my job due to
As of
COVID.
today. Just
Yeah,
one.
right. I
I'm
lost my
sorry.
job. Thank you. And so,
So
but right now
sad.
I have dividends paying me, so stuff I
Mhm.
invested in way back when,
And
or go ahead.
yes, that's why I was asking you that. I wanted to ask you, like, do you count your stocks and stuff like that as a stream of income?
You know what? Yes, yes, because I do, for one, I get taxed on it, right? Any income you make in the United States over a certain amount of dollar would be taxable, and profits from investments, even dividends, can be taxed on. So so yes. Now I will say during this time, I'm not banking on my dividends to save me. That's why we have savings accounts, right? For moments like this. So
Mm-hmm.
so yes. But for now, one, hopefully in the future it's three or four.
Yes, I think we all hope for three or four, maybe
Right.
seven.
They're always
They
like that.
said the millionaire has seven streams of income. Well, sir, let
Do you
me
know
get one
what?
first.
I believe you. I definitely believe you because a lot of millionaires I see, even Buffett,
Mm.
well, most investors look up to Warren Buffett as, the smartest, the wisest. A good chunk of Warren Buffett's profits and wealth comes from real estate. You know,
Mm.
Oh, is that
even,
what it comes from?
right, right. Even, you can look at McDonald's right now. I don't have the stock just for personal reasons, but McDonald, I think, is a good place to store your money. Only because, well, not store, like to invest in, only because they've been around for a long time. I don't see anybody beating them out of business soon,
What is it
but
again?
or just McDonald's, McD.
McDonald's.
Yeah.
I'm crying.
McDonald's, yeah, but by the way, that was not a recommendation for investment. Contact your financial advisor. I'm not a licensed professional. Just had to put that there. But the point I'm trying to make,
I love that.
I had to, right? The point I'm trying to make is this, that, we see McDonald's, oh, how do they stay in business? Yes, they're all over the world. We
Because I be
forget
thinking,
that they own the land and they sell that out as a franchise. So people are just renting that land and the business. So we're thinking, oh man, with Beyond Meat, all this healthy alternatives, how's McDonald's making money? Guess what? They have real estate. So yes, they sell burgers. It's a stream of income.
Oh.
Yes, these are also franchises where they make their money from. So yes, I believe you when you say a millionaire has 7 streams of income, and one of the biggest ones are real estate, either in rent or royalties, but for sure.
Everybody's saying like invest in real estate, invest in real estate. Like that's how you can become a millionaire. Real estate, whatever. When I hear that, but I feel like sooner or rather than later, everybody's going to invest in real estate. Great, they're going to own what they have and stuff like that. But I'm just like, at one point, if everybody invests in real estate, is it going to be that much of a passive income? Is it going to be that much grand? Because everybody's going to be like, don't rent, buy, like invest in real estate, get real estate. But if everybody's getting the same thing out the pot, like, is there going to be anything left? Like, I don't know. That's just what I've been thinking about recently. I don't know how y'all feel about that.
What do you think, Catherine?
I honestly, I feel like there's always going to be property out there for everyone. So definitely going to real estate, it's an asset that is always going to be there. And when you have it, it's yours and you don't have to worry about anything. That's why one of my, go ahead.
Oh, that's what I'm saying. So you have it, right? You're gonna have it. You're gonna have that house. Well, pretty much. I don't know how much more you can build on out here, but what I'm saying is like, if people keep saying to invest in real estate, and every person invests in real estate, how are you gonna get your money? That's what my question was, I guess.
Oh, I see. So think about it this way. There are different entry points to this stuff we call real estate, right? You can be a buyer, you can be a seller, you can be a wholesaler. I don't know if you've heard about that before. You can be
I'm taking a class right now on wholesaling.
Oh yeah, we're in that. Okay. Wow. Okay, we need to connect some more actually. So yeah, there are different entry points, right? You can Airbnb your parents' place if they're okay with that after COVID. And there are other places that we don't even think of. I used to live in Midland, Texas. That place is almost called the milk and honey of oil and gas. Like there are times when, the geologists go out there, say they found some sort of oil, beneath the surface of your house. Well, not necessarily your house, in the vicinity. Guess what? You have to move out because somehow the company is going to convince the government, hey, we need all these houses out of here because of what this land can produce. Guess what? The people that own the house say they were trying to pay off this house in 30, 40 years. They're getting a huge payout already just because they've been miraculously placed in a place where there's oil. But I'm saying all this to say that the different...
That sounds like gentrification.
Sorry?
That sounds like gentrification.
Yeah, no.
Okay,
This is not, only because you're not removing the current tenants for new and a demographic to move in. We're removing the houses there because this land can produce oil and houses cannot be there. You're going to drill this place, produce a lot of money.
I see what you're saying.
You're going to pay the people some money. Hey, take X amount of money. Thank you for your time. And then you give the government royalty. So that's a bit different. But there's another part of royalty, real estate, that's an easier entry to most people. In the stock market, there's something called REITs. I don't know if you've heard about it before.
No.
It's a way to get into real estate without putting in too much hassle or thinking about it. Right? I think a REIT is defined as like a real estate investment trust. There are different companies in the stock market that are under the REIT. So you can just put your money there and they pay you dividends, And so it's a way to get into real estate. You just don't own the house or own the property. But guess what? They use your money to build a house. And as people pay rent or whatever, you get dividends from it. So there are different ways to get into the real estate market. And I don't think there would ever be a lack of land. You know what I mean? I don't think there will ever be. So don't be afraid to get in. That's what I'm trying to say. There are different ways to get in. Don't be afraid to get in.
Oh yeah, I'm not afraid to get in there. I do want to get in real estate. I was just thinking I'm just like, if people keep saying to do this one thing, I'm like, if everybody jumps on it, like how are you going to be able to get your payout, or is it going to be profitable? That's all I was wondering.
Oh yeah. But think about it though. I mean, even I think about that sometimes in the stock market. I'm just like, no, Ogechi, like you can't think about it that way, because I always say, man, would there be enough for everybody to eat out of? Yes, there's more than enough. The thing is this, a lot of people um sometimes just are risk avert. Well, I take that. Sometimes a lot of people don't want to take the risk or bear the risk. So some people don't go in. We see a lot of people like, oh, I got into this, I got into that. If you ask them, so how long have you been in it? Are you consistently in it? How much are you making? That list gets much, much smaller, you know? So, so yeah, that's my, at least that's my belief. You know, somebody could, I could have a different
Could
perspective.
you just spell what you were saying? Because I might get into that. What is it called? The wreath? Or how do you spell that?
R for, what's R for? R for R for oh my god. R for railway, E for egg, I for India, T for train.
Okay. All right.
Yes.
Who just
Thank
send
you.
that to me?
Yes. My question is, if someone is looking to get into stocks, because we keep talking about stocks, what would you say is the first step that they should do?
Open a brokerage account. As easy as that. That's the first step. But with the first step also comes the first advice, which is there's no guarantees in life, right? Other than death and taxes. So do not put in money that you're not willing to lose. Period. Period.
Yeah, I'm snapping because that's the first advice that I got. Don't put money in there if you know you're going to be afraid to lose it. Because I hear it. I mean, we talked about it in the last episode or another episode where one guy committed suicide because he kept taking so much in options and margins, money that he didn't have, taking all this risk. And I think it was like close to $1 million that he had to back.
Yes, girl. Yes, girl. It was very sad.
He committed suicide. That is so crazy. That just shook at me. See, I don't know. That's why I'm like, I might do something else, like the stock market, but I don't know the stock market for me because taking risk and doing this and doing that and waiting on the weight game. So I don't know about that one.
Just to add just a itty bitty comment to the guy that committed suicide. His soul rest in peace. It was a sad situation. I think sometimes some of the mistakes we make or some of the decisions we make in a haste are sometimes lack of understanding. Okay. So that they reviewed, I think Robinhood finally reviewed that. A lot of investment groups reviewed what went wrong and what happened. Okay. Yeah. So I believe, yeah. Usually in that kind of investing, I knew the kind, but in that it's a riskier type of investing, but you can't lose that much money if the brokerage hasn't verified that you have that amount of money. So there's, long-term investing where you buy, you look away and you hold for 5 to 10 years or forever and pass down to your kiddos. There's another kind of investing where it's like trading. You buy, you sell in the same day or in seconds or in minutes. There are other kinds of trading where you buy or you're the one selling. You're selling and betting, hey, this stuff will go down or will go up. And because you're the seller, you have the upper hand. But with certain brokerages like a Robinhood, Vanguard, TD Ameritrade, the rest of them, if you're a seller and say, for example, you're like, I want to sell $300,000 worth of shares, options, futures, stocks. These are different terminologies that people buy and sell in the stock market. If you're willing to sell that before they even say go or approved, you have to put something up as collateral, either your bank account or something that says if this doesn't work out, you can pay us back this money. Yeah. Unfortunately, I don't think that check was done for him because he's a young guy. I don't think he was up to 25 years old. I could be wrong, but I know he was I know he was a young guy and he was owing about 700 and something thousand. So I think that's a good lesson that the brokerage would learn from that hey, you have to check stuff like this before giving somebody that amount of leverage to put out in the market. And then when you lose it, what are you supposed to do? So yeah, That's a comment on that.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I didn't know how young he was. I never even heard about it. But I do think that's scary.
I guess I can like take that aspect into consideration. You know, it's not just like it's obviously not his fault. I mean, the brokers should have obviously took that into consideration.
Yeah.
At least do their thing.
Yeah. And also, I mean, a lot of people are just like, okay, oh wow, I just looked it up. He was 20 years old. I can imagine.
What?
Yeah.
Was this recent?
Yeah. About a month ago. 3 weeks ago.
What?
Yeah.
And
Well,
when
I'm
he
not in
left
the stock
the field,
market, so I don't know. I'm not in the stock market world, so I don't know if it was a bit like I don't know like how it was announced or whatever happened. That's what I'm trying to say.
oh, I see. No, I mean, the thing is this. Listen, I don't think he had that amount of money. Usually you lose what you put in. Sometimes I mean, or whatever you lose, you need to have some sort of collateral, something like that, hey, I can afford to lose XYZ. If Warren Buffett, buys an investment right now and say he makes a $1 million loss, I cannot, I don't even want to claim it into my future. I can't afford it right now. I don't want to afford it, But somebody like Buffett, it's chicken change to him, but not this 20-year-old. So that's another thing too, for like upcoming investors. You don't want to put or wage or bet or whatever something you're not willing to lose. So that's the
Definitely.
message there. But do not be afraid of investing, because the American economy is one of the best and most secure places to put your money, even in 2020. Granted, we have some other countries in Latin America and good old China that's doing really well.
Good old China.
Yeah, they're doing well too. But it's been years over years. It's been tested, I think, since the 20s or so. The American stock market is a good place to put your money.
Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to do a little bit more research because if you did not get anything else out of this, know that do not risk your money if you ain't got your money. Okay. And
Bingo.
this is something that we usually ask all of our guests. What does financial freedom mean to you?
Oh wow, that's a very good question.
Thanks, we try.
I'm over here thinking, I think for me, it means a lot of things. For me, I would say peace of mind, in the sense that I'm not dependent on an employer to hire me. If not, I would lose, I don't know, like my car would get repoed or a house would get foreclosed on. When you have financial independence, those things don't bother you too much because it's already been paid for, and so you're just living in this place of peace and freedom. Actually in a place of surplus, because you're not worried about that. There's a lady I met recently, and this girl, I'm older than her. I guess it doesn't really matter, but she's 26 or 27. She's a mom and everything. This lady has over 20 properties in her name.
Wow.
But even better, I mean, a lot of millionaires and investors have that. But the beautiful thing about this young lady is that they're all paid off.
Wow.
She's not even 30.
Wow.
Not even 30.
Nope.
Wow.
Nope. Yeah. If you guys can, she needs to be on the show too. But it's just, I think of her,
Give us her name.
Her name is Jamisa. Let me see if I can find her last name.
We might just need to. 20 properties under 30.
Yeah.
All paid off.
Yeah, okay, yeah. Her name is Jamisa McLevor, McLevor. She and I think her IG name is Rosebud. She's as humble can get, and you wouldn't even tell. You couldn't even tell. But I was speaking to her, I think last month or 2 months ago, and I could just hear this calm in her voice. I mean, coronavirus is happening. People are scared of losing their jobs, losing their houses. This lady is just chilling. I think of when I think of her, I think of financial freedom. you know, because there's this piece you just have, you know, I mean, honestly, if worse comes to worse, say for example, even some people that can brag that they have 20 houses, guess what? If one of your tenants stop paying, you're almost screwed because now you got to start paying. But if those houses are paid off, I mean, really.
You don't have to worry about anything.
Yep, that's a long answer to a short question. But
it's okay. We love long answers.
yeah, but yeah, and I'll tell you how she got started. It's also another entry into real estate. It's called, oh man, how did I forget this? It's called auction. You know, I think that's a word. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Auction is where it's at. That's how my mom bought her first home. And
No way.
Anything. Yes. Everything about real estate, I get it from my mom. But auction is like one of them. She's just like, auction is great. You go, you bid on what you want, you pay cash, and you don't have to worry about any.
Oh my gosh! I seen a house that was up for auction too. I thought about it. Wasn't y'all talking about that before? I remember we were having conversations about auction. Were you talking about that's where you bought your car or something like that?
Yeah. So auctions are great for, you know, buying homes, buying cars.
Yes.
I save money and like everyone's always like, I'm going to pay $15K and I'm going to buy me this car and whatever. I'm like, I'm going to the auction because I don't have to worry about paying a car note. I don't have to pay, you know what I mean? Like those sort of things. If I can take those expenses out of the way and put it in my pocket, that's the way I'm going to go.
Correct. That's correct.
But so my question is, what are some of your money goals for the rest of the year?
Okay, I'll share some because it's a lot. When I wrote it down, I was like, how are you going to get
this
done?
A whole board?
No, not a board. I have like a diary for every year, and I put in like new money goals.
Okay, but, I need to get that.
Yeah. Let me. I don't know why. I mean, I love the vision board and everything, but they're not detailed for me. They're just very big pictures, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm trying to find the diary where I wrote it. Well, I'll tell you this off the top of my head. I wanted by the end of 2020, I wanted $50,000 in an individual, you know, brokerage. So basically, say if I was using Robinhood in my Robinhood account, and I don't know if I use any other thing. Right now, I use Robinhood. I use M1 Finance. So yeah, I want $50,000 on one of them.
$50,000.
Did you scream?
Yeah, you want $50,000?
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I for sure do. I believe these are one of the best times to invest. You know, like in general finance and economy, the way you make money is buy low, sell high. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Buy low, sell high. You know, in March, a lot of people missed out on a huge opportunity because the stock market was falling, and everybody was freaking out, selling everything in their bank account. Well, when we, you know, average Joes, well, let me not call myself an average Joe. We're not. But well, when some of us see that, we're so scared, you know, and we respond towards fear and sell. Guess what? We just let go of some of those shares. Guess what people like Warren Buffett and the rest of them are doing? They're buying. More. They're not dumb. They're buying as it's solo. They know why they're doing that, you know, and they're not in there for like the get rich quick or whatever. They're there for the long term. So when people see that, you know, when you have a short term view, like, oh my gosh, it's falling, I can't, which a lot of people's retirement account did fall in March, including mine and millions of other Americans, you know. So when that happens and stocks are falling, everything's falling, people are so fearful. That's actually the time to buy. One of my friends called me and say, hey, this company has fallen to $5. This is a company I bought last year at $30-something. I was like, oh my God, my money, my $34 is now $5. I was freaking out. But I was like, you know what? I wouldn't even know if this guy never called me because I just removed my eye from it because I knew it would go up eventually. But I took the leap of faith. I bought a lot of those stocks at $5. As of last month, June, that stock went up to like $15.
Oh my goodness.
So if you started, but remember I initially bought it at 34, but no, but imagine if imagine you started investing for the first time in February or March. You're like, oh my gosh, somebody told me to buy this, you bought. Somebody told me to buy, you bought. As of today, you would have doubled or tripled or even quadrupled your money, period.
Yeah.
Oh, my head hurts.
And then you can take out the profits. I don't know, put down payments on real estate or whatever. Granted, this doesn't happen all the time. Coronavirus costs what happened and so many other things. But but all that to say is that so I do believe it's possible when you're like 50,000 is actually on the very low end, but I know it's possible. I just need to be wise with where I'm putting in my money. So that's for investments. For for retirement, I want to get it over 6 figures,
Okay. It's
yeah.
possible.
Yes.
Possible.
Yeah, by the end of 2020, I've been slacking. I've just been putting it in my company's 401k as opposed to my individual account because I have an individual retirement. So I want to do that there. And I told myself whatever I make, I'd have to give out like 20%. And I was like, oh, but I was like, you know what? If you make a lot of money, what is 20%? You already pay 30 in taxes. So so those So those are my goals, obviously, and I would say real estate, but that's the big goal for now for 2020.
Is to get into real estate?
No, it's not the biggest. It's
Oh.
I will get into real estate by the end of 2020. I'm exploring all the options. Everything I told you that I mentioned, I'm looking into it. I've stalked so many people, recently, but I'm going to get into it. I was just mentioning the money goals that I had. But yeah, real estate, I believe 2020 is my year. It has to happen. Before now, I was putting my money into REITs. So the real estate investment trust, which is good. And I get dividends here and there, or I see the money growing, but I'm like, I want the real deal. I don't want to be like a little piece of the equation, like, hey, here's my money, which there's nothing wrong with. Actually, if I do that again, I want to do it, with folks that are buying back the block,
Yes, buying back the block.
Yep. So it's another form of, I guess it's not really weak because it's not in the stock market, but it's a form of it. Yeah, but this time I want the real deal, So yeah.
Okay, and I was just like trying to reiterate what you were saying, but I know in these next 10 years, if this happens again, I'm gonna be ready and I'm gonna be good. And so, this is just a real quick question that I wanted to ask. Do you see yourself part of the FIRE community, the FIRE movement, where it's like, you get like financial independence and then you retire early, or?
Yes,
you are.
Yeah. So I'm not like a full-fledged member because I looked into it and I was like, you know what, that's a little too much for me. So I started off with Dave Ramsey. I was like, yes, I love savings. And all my friends thought I was a cheapo and I was crazy, but I'm not gonna say look at me now. No, I'm just kidding. No, but yeah, all I did was just save but I didn't have a why for doing what I did, Then I find out about FIRE, like you said, financial independent and retire early. And so I was thinking about doing that, but I was like, you know what? I can't sustain this lifestyle. It just didn't work. If I had the money and put a lot of things in order, yes, it would probably work. But I was like, I can't sustain the lifestyle, because you have to do a lot of things to be a minimalist. You have to do a lot of things, and I was like, yeah, I still want to stay in a nice hotel, without all those credit card points, so anyway, long story short, I think fundamentally I like the idea and I'm working towards that, because whenever someone says, oh, yes, putting your money here so you can retire at 60, I'm like, not so much. So I do like that. Go ahead.
Oh, no, I'm listening to you. I was like agreeing with you.
Yeah, so I do like the idea, and I think just the way I don't do a strict budget, but I have control over my finances. I would say I don't follow all FIRE rules like strictly, but I do have control, well, to some degree, over doing whatever I can now, financially minimizing a lot of unnecessary expenses so I can retire before 60, and that way my retirement portfolio can pay me. So a lot of FIRE people live on 4% of their portfolio. You can imagine that. Yeah, but I mean, you're living on 4% of a couple of million, not of like $20,000. Yeah. So
Wow,
yeah.
that sounds like some good times right there. So you said you've been looking around and just looking at different just looking at different people, maybe even each Instagram. So I guess my question would be, what are some of your favorite Instagrammers that you follow to get some of your information from?
So let's see. I follow, for investing, I would say, I don't know. How about this? I use YouTube. I follow a lot of YouTube influencers. There's
Okay.
a there's a channel called The Minority Mindset. It's
Ooh.
really good. Really, really good. I recommend it. There's a guy called Graham Stephan.
Ooh, I love him.
You do? Yes.
Sorry, I just had to say that.
Yeah, him. There's also Our Rich Journey. It's actually a couple that retired literally, I think at the end of last year, and then COVID happened, but they're still good to go. If anything, they're investing in some more in March. And so and then yeah, I follow those people. There's a lady on, let's see, I think her name is Erica Classy Climb. She's a sister. I really love her stuff too. So those are the people I learned, and those helped me form my investment, I guess my investment background now, with all the stuff going on and looking for more ways to make more money and all of that. I recently got into trading. It's a risky, high risk, high reward kind of investment, so I started following these people. Let's see. There's a guy on Instagram called Chris Johnson.
Okay.
There's him. So there's another guy, I forget his name. That one of the person I was going to mention, it's not a person, it's like a group of people. It's called EYL University, and Your Leisure University. They're on YouTube. They're also on Instagram. Really good. EYL University is like the university of everything finance and how to make money, and it's with like-minded minority folks, so it's really, really good. There's also the Master Investor. There's so many people. I could go on and on and on. There's so many people, but I would say the key thing out of this is just constantly surround yourself. I can't be on CNBC, Yahoo Finance, I can't be on all of those 24/7, but these people, they just love it. And that's like most of what they do. Some of these people are like full-time traders or teachers and all of that, but they've soaked up a lot of knowledge where they easily share that and help other people. And so I'm always down for that, helping people, especially investing in our community, but investing knowledge-wise. I don't believe knowledge will ever fail our people. So the more knowledge you have about something, the better you can apply it. And when you apply it and teach the next generation, oh my gosh, we would be better off. I have a Disney stock. I plan to live it for my kiddos, when they come. That's so funny. And I got to hear this from all these people, like, yeah, this is not just for myself. I'm doing long-term investing for my this. I was just like, wow, I need to do that too, as opposed to I need to make money from this stock and like spend it on that,
Yes. Definitely loved all the gems that you shared and all the things that you dropped. I do want to say thank you for joining us on here. And thanks for just letting us know about 401ks, about the stock market and everything. And if y'all have not joined our Facebook group, Millennial Thoughts, we give a lot of resources and information in there as well. And if you want the people to follow you, or you want them to know more about you, tell them where they can follow you at.
I'm on Instagram at hey.getch. So it's HEY.GECH. I just joined Instagram not too long ago. So I will do better. I will do better, So, but yeah,
Yes.
it's hopefully the information I shared was helpful. I know I shared quite a bit and answered longer questions to short. I maybe had long answers to short questions, but hopefully it was helpful.
Girl,
No,
it
you're
was
fine.
very
We love it. We love to hear it. Is there any last things that you want to say to the people, or any inspiring, encouraging words?
Quote from MLK that I really like a lot, and hopefully I remember it correctly. But I think it goes: if you cannot run, walk. If you cannot walk, crawl. But what again? I shortened it down. But whatever you do, don't stop moving. I like that a lot.
Oh,
Have you heard of it before?
girl, you talking to me because I'm crawling to the high yield savings accounts and the stock market.
Yeah, we need to connect. I'll give you like a high level overview of the stock market just to
Ooh,
give
girl,
you an
my friend.
intro, and then if you need details, then I could help you refer you to somebody who can. Okay, I just found the quote. If you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, don't stop moving. So
Okay, yeah, you had it right. You was
yeah.
only missing one. It's okay, girl. Woo, baby. But thank you so much. And I actually love that quote. It's by MLK. I never really heard. I think I've seen that quote before a couple times or whatever. But yeah. So definitely just hope y'all enjoy this episode. Hope y'all get something from this. Make sure y'all go and spam up the Instagram under her picture. Because she's been showing some real love. And we had to do this again because my internet was horrible. So yeah, y'all know. Much love to y'all. And stay tuned for the next episode coming
Thank
out
you.
next Thursday. And it has been brought to my attention that the episode is over. I know. But if you want to keep on following up with us and staying tuned for the next episode, make sure you follow us on Instagram at Millennial Thoughts Pod. And I want to leave you with this. Passion or purpose, profit or pain, I don't want my name to ever be in vain. A life full of purpose is the only thing that will remain the same. Millennial Thoughts.